Hello everybody, this is the second attempt at streaming we've done. I've been having terrible OBS problems for days now. OBS just decided to start being shit to me when I handed out my stream key, so sorry. I don't know what the fuck is up with my computer, I might have to hang it. But we're gonna be reading Chris and His Ego, and this is a quickie article. I feel like it's important to read this because it gives you an insight on Chris Chan and why he does some of the things that he does. Today we're gonna be having 3 guest people on. These are new people to this series. I'll be reading first, and then who's reading second?
How's it going, everybody? It's PewDiePie. I'll be reading second.
God damn it, just say her real name.
It's the unknown otaku.
Okay, we have unknown otaku on second. Who's third?
Hi, I'm Jazz. I'm on third. Oh my god.
Jazz is third.
Who's on first?
Oh, is the chat stuck now? Are we having issues?
No.
Okay, because someone was saying the chat.
It just
stuck.
unstuck.
Okay, it was probably just reloading. Fucking OBS is shit. Who do we got fourth? Peebles?
Yeah, it's Peebles bringing up the back.
Okay, so I'm gonna start by reading this quote. And I'm not reading the Bible verse because that is in that fucking old English shit and I don't like it.
That's non-American.
Chris said, firstly, you wish you were me. Chris, mailbag 10. Anybody want to read the Bible quote? Because I'm not fucking reading that.
I don't know.
I got it. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be humbled, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted.
Humbleth.
I wonder if he understands what that means.
He doesn't. He doesn't fucking understand the Bible. He literally was saying, like, this is why I don't fucking think that he doesn't hate gay people anymore. Because before, when one of his gal pals called him out for hating gay people, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't hate any gay person. Then literally, like a month later, he was saying, well, Family Guy pointed out a Bible quote to me, and it's bad to be homosexual, so burn in hell. You don't fucking take anything Chris says seriously, because he doesn't stay consistent to his own logic. Egotism is the most important and self-destructive of Chris's flaws. It is this egotism that may one day lead to someone playing Kick the Autistic in real life. And this is a perfect rendition of the author, and if you look at the sketches on the board, you can see Sonichu and a bunch of these ugly-ass Chris's. This is the Chris Chan that first appears in Sonichu, so this is like one of the first drawings of Chris Chan in Sonichu. He's drawn himself worse. If you go and watch my Wall of Originals stream, you can see that he drew himself like really fucking ugly. He gave himself like massive fucking blackface lips and like a really bent and crooked nose. It was terrible. He's gotten better at drawing himself, but it was fucking hideous for a while. When people when you don't have people in your life pushing you, you can push yourself. Can you push yourself? Okay, Tori Amos. I think that's one of the people that Chris knew. I think. I'm probably not
Yeah,
right.
that's literally called pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah, it's an old saying.
Yeah.
People fucking rephrase that all the time. And then we can see that Chris in this Sonichu comic, he was talking about how great he is and that he was cursing people. Egotism, noun, the belief that your pain, getting kicked out of the mall for for being creepy, trumps all the others, divorce and loss of your beloved life and children at home. So what Chris thinks is him getting kicked out of the mall for trying to hook up with women is the same as this guy breaking his glasses, finding out that his wife is leaving him for his smoking habit, and she took the kids. That's equal to him.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yep.
Also, I love how Chris draws himself here, like the Sonichu medallion. It's not even recognizable. He didn't even want to fucking make it look like the Sonichu medallion.
To be fair, who wants to be recognized in this?
Why is Chris such an egotist? In his sheltered childhood, His enabling parents taught him to shift the blame and all of his troubles on other people. That is something I pointed out in the last stream, the last Quickie reading, that his parents would, they would feed him information that was totally wrong. They told him that his principal tried to molest him as a child. They told him that Michael Snyder was the one behind the trolling and Megan was behind the trolling, even though that's not even close to being true. His parents were as delusional as him, and if anything, a lot of his bad habits come from them. A sense of entitlement, again homegrown, skewed his perception of the proportionality between his problems and those of people. Oh, it says proportionality. Proportionally? Okay, I'll read it again. His perception of the proportion... No, it has to be proportionality.
You're right, I guess.
Yeah, I was right.
Daggone words.
Between his problems and those of other people. Chris doesn't completely lack empathy. Yes, he does. He does have, like, some sympathy for people. Like, when he thought someone killed themselves over Sonichu or fucking Ching-Chong. He did act like he genuinely felt sad, but he isn't a crazy guy. It even goes on to say he isn't a sociopath, even though he sometimes acts like one. But the internal scale by which he weighs the importance of himself against the others tilts fair in his favor. That I know a lot of people with autism are gonna comment on this video and be like, I don't act like that. It is autism that can cause that too. Having a more fixation on yourself, that could be a symptom of autism, and not caring about others. It's yet again that emotional distance that can be caused by autism. The problem was compounded by his autism. See, they even fucking said it. Making it difficult for him to understand social cues and relate normally to his peers. He grew up in a different world. But that explains why Chris was an egotist, struggling with egotism. That sounds redundant. Or his tendencies toward egotism. God damn it, stop saying egotism. While Chris's childhood was less than ideal, it shouldn't have been quite so crippling. He lived good. I don't fucking care what he said. He got any fucking toy he wanted. He got all those game consoles he wanted. I didn't get any of that shit growing up.
That
and
sounds
I turned
pretty
out fine. The worst thing is that his parents didn't live together for a while. That's the worst thing that happened to him. Oh
I think the worst thing is that he was spoiled.
Oh yeah, but he doesn't realize that. Like, if I had stolen my mom's credit card and fucking put her in debt, I'd be disowned. I'd be kicked out of the house. There'd be no way I'd be still living with her. Time and experience should have helped temper his ego, but his half-brother supposedly suffered far worse and still managed to make something out of himself. He is a critic. He actually does reviews. He's the guy that ruined Toy Story 3's perfect rating. And that's literally how people know him. But Chris' development appears to have completely stopped altogether. Chris is still an egotist because he lives in a social time capsule that has allowed him to carry on for over a decade. That is true. Chris still likes to believe that he's young. Chris still likes to believe that the world around him isn't changing. He doesn't want anything to change. That's why when he was kicked out of the game place, he had such a freak out, because he wasn't expecting that to happen. He never expected there to be a time where he couldn't show up at the game place. He never expected there to be a time where he couldn't talk to Megan. And every now and again, he wants to pretend like he's back in the past, but you can't do that. Getting people to stalk and harass Megan will not make this be 2004 again. That's just not how life works, but he can't understand that.
I don't know. Haven't you ever heard of Yanderes?
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, I have, and I have heard of a game involving them. But that's a different story. Without a single life lesson, and he still lives in that time capsule because it's easy, it's comfortable, and people let him. See, that's yet again something I have to say, and it's gonna talk about this next, so I'm gonna let you take over this, Otaku, but
in a world,
it's because, well,
the enablers.
it's because people enable him. His parents enabled him to do this shit, but to a lesser extent, and now people on the internet enable him even further. It's the white knights and the people who actually defend Chris that make Chris worse off. Sometimes it's the trolls too. But continue.
The enablers. Drunk or not, hey, that's me. They had me at an old age.
You're his dad?
Well, no, I'm drunk. Okay, drunk or not, they had me at an old age where my mother was so close to menopause and my father was a senior citizen. I truly was a miracle. Chris
Chris doesn't understand that because his parents are so elderly, that could have been what caused his autism.
It's autism, exactly.
I present to the court Exhibit A. The freaking side. It just says Exhibit A. Okay. Chris's parenthood. Chris's parents are enablers par excellence. There's no earthly reason why bearing unrelated catastrophes at a 30-year-old man with autism should live at his home with his parents, especially when his autism is high functioning, as Chris actively and his documents exemplifies it to be.
See, that's the thing. People always like to act like Chris is some retard that can't help himself. Chris is not mentally retarded. He acts really dumb, but he's not mentally retarded. If people were to quit buying into his shit and enabling him, he has the potential to be a normal person. He has the potential to function in society. But it's the fact that
he has the potential to get laid.
It's because people keep enabling him and pitying him. That's why he doesn't feel like he needs to improve himself.
We can rebuild him. We just have to stop giving him money.
Well, I mean, if he stopped getting money, what would he do? It's either die or evolve. There's only two options.
Yep. Adults with far more crippling mental health problems, from emotional disorder to mental retardation, live far more independently than Chris does.
I have cousins who are actually mentally retarded that are better off than Chris.
Yep.
For children like Chris, special education in public school is generally geared towards helping the child understand how their disorder affects their lives and what strategies they can use to minimize its impact. This is well documented and a well-supported strategy, but relies on buy-in. Chris's parents clearly never bought into these strategies.
Yeah, they refused to put him into any special education programs because they thought the special ed was for retards. And they thought that their son was better than that, so they never did it.
Because they never fostered any interest in instilling any form of independence in Chris. Oh, that's a lie. Thus undermining their entire regimen of special education and ended up with a man-child entitlement issues. Monthly tugboat. Main article. Chris and money. My father helped me get out of Social Security setup, and I get more a month than I could at a job.
So
Chris taking pride.
That is a lie. The amount of money he gets is probably 600 to 1,000. That is not more than you could get at a monthly job. That's more than you could get at a part-time job when you're a teenager, which is the last time he worked. But if you had an actual full-time job, you can earn more than whatever the state gives you. I don't fucking believe it. But anyway, let's switch readers.
I'm willing to give the benefit of doubt that, we'll gets switch... at most maybe 1,800.
We'll switch readers at blind luck.
Okay. Chris receives welfare from the government, a monthly tugboat, as he calls it, although intends to supply the money he would receive, or supplement the money he would receive at low-paying jobs.
See, that's what I was saying. Like, that's literally what he would have had if he was working at, like, a McDonald's back when he was a teenager. If he actually had a full-time job now, he'd be making a lot more.
Chris continues to abuse the welfare because he is simply unwilling to work on anything except masturbating. Oh.
It's masturbating his terms, but masturbating for people who aren't Chris, in case they don't know Chris lingo.
I know. I was like, masturbating. What is he? I didn't know he goes
No,
into
he's not a debater. He's masturbating, and he doesn't want to call it that.
Okay. Playing video, I'm guessing video games.
Yeah, video
and
games.
stalking young women. How young are we talking?
Young. He's hit on a fucking, like, 16-year-old before.
Oh, Christ.
How long is it
Oh.
illegal? No, I'm just messing around. Regardless of whether Chris is abusing the welfare system, his parents are abusing it through him, or the system itself is flawed. Well, I mean, of course the system is flawed. The fact remains that the monthly tugboat that he receives is a major factor in making Chris' lifestyle, and thus in his worldview, sustainable.
Another thing that could help is the fact that when Chris was born, his dad was already retired. So, like, throughout his whole life, he never really seen his father work, which could have impacted him and his thoughts on work. And then his mom also ended up retiring when he was young. So, he's in a household where two parents never have to work. They constantly get paid to do nothing, and he wants in on that. That could very well be a thing.
Local boy levels up. Level up.
Oh, jeez. All right. So, blind luck and the cherry picking fallacy. A contest or two here. A 9-second TV, local TV.
Can you lower your
clip.
voice? You're kind of screaming.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Snaps.
That's usually a good thing, though.
God.
All right.
To make
Blind
sure
luck.
people can hear her.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's what I meant, totally.
Okay, a contest or two here, a 9-second local TV blip there. The results are that outside events most people never experience have stroked Chris's already monstrous ego. Consider that Chris has produced a huge volume of fan mail, letters to the editor, internet commentary, and other drivel. Each letter to Nintendo is a message in a bottle. Most of them never return, but the one that does, on an official letterhead, and addressed to Mr. C.W. Chandler, is confirmation of his celebrity. Look at that photo up there. Meet Sonichu.
Yeah.
Student feature.
What Chris would do is he would literally enter every fucking contest, and he would always expect to win. He would put his shit into every fucking article, like where it's like right into Nintendo Power or something. He'd do it every fucking time, and then he'd get featured once out of his 1,000 fucking entries and be like, "I'm a winner. This is destiny." And then when he doesn't win, he's like, "How dare they? I must have been cheated. This is flawed. You guys hate autistic people." His own words.
I got it. That just still blows my mind with that.
And yet when they put him inside the fucking show itself, he will deny it's him.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, like, for a lot of people, they would call Chris Chan Sonichu. And that's what's in this article, too. It's like, meet Sonichu. And when Chris got his articles first, they called him Sonichu. Like, one of the papers that a girl wrote on him, they were like, "This guy, Sonichu, I'll call him, was in the library acting weird."
Oh my gosh.
We're not going to read that. That article is way too small, and it's not really relevant. So we'll skip down.
Oh, I'll skip that. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. The concept of form letters does not seem to occur to Chris, who seems to think that the letter was written specifically for him. Of course, it was a godsend. As if Chris didn't think his material was golden to begin with, he got a second nod from Nintendo Power for his epic Animal Crossing documentary.
I'm really shocked they accepted that Animal Crossing documentary, because he sings So Need a Cute Girl and other songs in that, and he talks about being a virgin. I'm like, why did they accept this? Did the guy, like, checking Nintendo Power stuff, was he just wasted that day?
Like me.
Anyway, continue.
Yep. And a page in the PVCC's forum is just the icing on the cake. Even before his e-fame, Chris had plenty of evidence to convince himself that he was creative, and not just a high-volume, whiny jerk that had pestered his way to acknowledgement. As he graduated from PVCC in 2006, his writing shows that Sonichu was, in his mind, already tested. There was just some small threshold of notoriety or connections that needed to be breached in order to become a true media sensation, like the comic
Can you
And
guys hear that
yeah.
train that's passing by? Because if you can, then I'll mute myself.
No,
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I can't even hear
No.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. On top of that, Chris has a huge amount of free time to inject himself into situations like the entire park meetings, which allows him to cherry pick more moments of recognition. A tongue-in-cheek acknowledgement by the local council seems cute to us, but is serious business to him. And since Chris cherry picks only the reinforcement that he wants, his legions of trolls just add more to the fire. Delusion led him to believe that he had a legion of fans for a time. A few hundred emails in his inbox confirmed it.
Okay.
I'm sure he does have a legion of fans.
He got his actual fan base during his hiatus, like when he disappeared from the internet. So really, it was after he gave up that he got genuine fans, and now the White Knights are a thing. The Christian White Knights do exist now. They didn't exist as much back then. There was maybe 3 or 4 people that genuinely like Sonichu. Anyway, let's let people read this next one.
Ahem. Narcissistic personality disorder. I was mistaken, but not wrong.
That makes no fucking sense. It's an oxymoron.
It's entirely possible, however, that Chris suffers from narcissistic personality disorder, whose diagnosis criteria detail many of the characteristics that Chris exhibits. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 4th edition, DSM-V, a widely used manual for...
DSM-5.
Oof. Yes. Sorry.
I already
It
did a
could
video
really
about
be
the DSM-5.
either, but it's fine.
No, I know it's DSM-5. Trust
No, I
me,
know,
I just did a
but
video about it.
I know, but the V is like the symbol for 5, so it's like, it's either or. But yeah, 5 is the correct way to say it.
Sigh. Okay. DSM-5, a widely used manual for diagnosing mental disorders, defines narcissistic personality disorder in Axis 2, Cluster B as the essential features of a personality disorder are impairments in the personality, self and interpersonal functioning, and the presence of pathological personality traits. To diagnose narcissistic personality disorder, the following criteria must be met. Significant impairments in personality functioning manifest by impairments in self-functioning, A or B, identity, excessive reference to others for self-definition and self-esteem regulation. Exaggerated self-appraisal may be inflated or deflated, or vacillate between extremes. Emotional regulation mirrors fluctuations in self-esteem. Self-direction. Goal setting is based on gaining approval from others. Personal standards are unreasonably high in order to see oneself as exceptional, or too low based on a sense of entitlement, often unaware of own motivations. And impairments in interpersonal functioning, A or B. Empathy, impaired ability to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others, excessively attuned to reactions of others, but only if perceived as relevant to self, over or
that's what's
underestimate.
funny. Chris shows that one especially because, like, during the Casey calls, he was
Oh
talking to
my
what he thought
gosh.
was Casey's father, and Casey's father was talking about how his friends in the war died, and he's a made-up guy, so you don't have to worry about that. But he was talking about
Yep.
his friends dying, and then he compares that to his dog dying. He talks about having to go to their funeral. He talks about carrying a doghouse when the dog is dead. These things are not comparable to most people, but Chris can only, like, empathize with people by comparing their misfortunes to his own.
Yep.
I don't know. That seems pretty reasonable.
It's not reasonable. If your fucking friends die in the war, they don't want to fucking hear about a dog dying. Anyone can get a new dog.
Just
Anyone
get a
can
new best friend.
Yeah, see? It's comparable, see?
I'll go
I
to
do it
the
every
best
week.
friend store.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, but for some reason it's always in a back alley, and they call them slaves?
Uh-oh. Anyway,
You only had to- I only gave a kidney for the friend. It's okay, man.
Okay. Or underestimate of own effect on others. Intimacy. Relationships largely superficial and exist to serve self-esteem regulation, mutuality constrained by little genuine interest in others' experiences, and predominance of a need for personal gain.
See, that's what's funny. If you read his love signs, like his signs pointing out what he needs in a girl,
Oh my
he
God.
points out she has to be attractive, have a job, have a
Job.
vehicle. He doesn't really ever point out like things that they need to have
Personality.
in common. Yeah, he doesn't point out like actual things that people would want to see in a relationship. He just points out a bunch of superficial shit. And that's why I don't believe he's trans, because he doesn't understand what it means to be a woman. He just understands what the media considers it to be a woman. He doesn't understand that women are independent people that can think like and act like anyone.
Wait. You're telling me women are people? This is mind-breaking.
Chris acts like what he thinks a woman should act like. If he truly was having gender dysphoria issues, he would already know what a woman is and why he wants to be that. Instead, he thinks and acts like what he expects women to act like. And that's what's pretty hilarious. Even here lately, for the longest time, he was doing like a really high-pitched voice to try to sound like a woman. But he's given up on it because he knows it makes him sound retarded.
More retarded.
That and he dresses like a 4th grader because he thinks that's what girls look like.
Oh yeah, he's kind of going for middle school style, 90s middle school style, and he's doing that because that's all the girls look like in his photos.
Oh, that's hot.
You won't say that when you see Chris wearing that fucking jean
I'm
skirt.
just messing.
You won't- Anyway, continue.
He's a trendsetter. Okay. Pathological personality traits in the following domains. Antagonism, characterized by grandiosity, feelings of entitlement, either overt or covert. Self-centeredness, firmly holding to the belief that one is better than others, condescending toward others. Attention-seeking, excessive attempts to attract and be the focus of the attention of others, admiration-seeking.
I'd be talking down to the audience if I point out all the times Chris Chan did that, so just know that he did it.
It's basically his entire life.
Yeah, that's everything. I'd be majorly talking down to the audience if I had to give examples there.
The impairments in personality functioning and the individual's personality trait expression are relatively stable across time and consistent across situations. The impairments in personality functioning and the individual's personality trait expression are not better understood as normative for the individual's developmental stage or social-cultural environment. The impairments in personality functioning and the individual's personality trait expression are not solely due to the direct physiological effects of a substance, e.g. a drug of abuse, medication, or a general medical condition, e.g. severe head trauma. As you can see, these criteria describe Chris, right down to the sense of entitlement. Then again, many of the symptoms described match a typical diagnosis of autism. He may have both. Further reading is required to confirm the difference.
I would say a lot of it is autism, but there is a good argument to make about him having the other stuff. I'm going to be reading this one, Manifestations. Chris's egotism manifests itself in various ways. This is funny. Right here, Chris tries to make up for making Mary Lee Walsh the villain of his comic for so long, but instead of him genuinely apologizing to her, he retcons it to an evil witch stole the identity of Mary Lee Walsh and has his made-up character apologize to her, instead of himself apologizing to her. And the funny thing is, the Chris it's drawn there is the Chris from the early 2000s, too, so he wants to retcon it as young Chris apologizing, and not accepting that he waited till like 20 years later to apologize.
Yep.
Unwarranted self-importance. I have had way over 1 million fans worldwide since I went online before 2000. That's a lie.
Wait, is
That's
he
straight up a
counting
lie.
every single? Wait, is he counting every single view as a fan?
He would know what the
Probably.
views are because he's talking about his like fucking site views and shit. You can't really see that shit in the early 2000s, I don't think.
Yeah, but I was asking like, yeah.
But he thought that he already had like a fan base before like ED even found him. Like it makes no fucking sense why he thought anybody knew what Sonichu was.
He probably thought that because of the contests he entered. Like the one time he got included, he probably thought a bunch of people read that, as if anyone cared.
Everyone that read that article is instantly a fan of him.
As overwhelming as Chris's unwarranted self-importance is, it's easy for the novice observer to get lost in the sea of Sonichu shit and assume that he's just confident in his E-fame. Of course, you say, he's got 1 billion hits on YouTube and 1,000 emails in his mailbox. He's going to think he's hot shit, like every other retard on the internet. But nothing sums up Chris's deep and abiding USI like this massive to Mary Lee Walsh. No, that's not massive. Missive, okay. Like this missive to Mary Lee Walsh, and then we already talked about that. They could have said message. Yep. I don't know why they had to put message.
God damn. 4 mugs and I still don't feel drunk.
Mary, I slept on it and I have realized that the note hanging is not the way to get attention, and I don't really want to meet with either you or Susan. No offense. I'll tell you what, let's forget about the meeting, and if you will allow my newsletter to stay in distribution, his one where he's trying to get women, I will do all the following. I will never hang notes on the wall again. I will consider stopping my silent treatment towards Susan. I will consider knocking you and Susan up my scale of respect, each by 2 points. 0 means no respect. 10 equals respect.
Susan
Wojcicki? Kristen C. So Chris Chen literally thought that he could like be a terrorist and tell them, here's how you're gonna do it. And she just fucking slapped him down and ended up telling him he needs to get help from a therapist and banned him from the school for 2 years. So, yeah, it was fucking funny.
Susan, you mean Susan Wojcicki or Susan someone in their life?
It's Susan someone in Chris's life. This is before
okay.
Susan Wojcicki was anybody. E-Fame just adds a whole new dimension. He was misunderstood genius before. Now he's a misunderstood genius with a personal army. That is fucking true. The Chris Chan White Knights are not to be underestimated. When my channel inevitably dies and I have to take down all these videos, it'll be because of them. The second they find me, I am fucked. I'm not even joking. I'm working on it. Let me do that stupid video so I can tell everybody in my command to get everything. Help me get everyone off the internet. Chris, that is my house. It's so bad now that Chris meets someone who claims not to know who he is. He seems skeptical and surprised. Y'all should know me by now, but if you don't, I am Kristen Weston Chandler, the original creator of Sonichu, the electric hedgehog Pokemon, back on March 17, 2000. Chris in his second YouTube video, before he even became big. The instant gratification, instant acknowledgement, and instant attention, good or bad, that has come with his major E-Fame. Everyone on the internet knows who fucking Chris Chan is.
Yeah.
Of the last few years has thoroughly convinced Chris that people do read everything he writes. Unfortunately, no, Chris. I have to clarify shit all the time involving you. Like, people actually thought he was a pedophile, and I had to point out that no, there's actually shit behind that. Because people only look at the shit that's presented to them, and they don't bother digging deeper. And that his YouTube messages invariably get to his target audience. Yeah, he thought that he could literally make a YouTube message to someone and they would have to see it. Like, he would talk to Megan or to any random
here's
fucking
the
person.
Dumbest thing. I hate that YouTube made it you no longer get notifications when you get YouTube messages. That is fucking stupid.
You don't get YouTube messages at all now. You can't message.
Yeah, I know.
YouTube.
I think you can still somewhat.
You have to go. You have to go to their to their discussion section, and they have to have a big enough audience to get their discussion section.
Yeah,
It's
there was
really
a
dumb.
YouTube Messenger a long time
Yeah,
ago,
yeah,
and
yeah.
used to give notifications for it, but not anymore. And I thought that was just fucking stupid.
YouTube
And I was like,
was
why did you disable it?
YouTube was originally built to be a Facebook-like system, and it was made to be more like Facebook, where you just message and talk to people. But slowly, YouTube became known for its video uploading and not its fucking messaging and social media abilities. So slowly, YouTube worked out all of its Facebook-like features. And
Strangely
Facebook,
enough, they added the Messenger and adding friends.
YouTube added
Yeah.
in the thumbs up and the thumbs down because Facebook had the thumbs up and the thumbs down. Originally, YouTube did stars, and that's how you would rate videos. You'd give it 1 out of 5 stars, 5 stars, or whatever you felt like. But
I
when
remember
Facebook
that.
added thumbs up, thumbs down, they went with that. But Facebook inevitably got rid of thumbs down, and now I sound like an old man bringing up that Facebook had a thumbs down, and no one fucking knows it.
Back
in my day. I
mean, 5-star systems.
I realize I'm famous like a princess. Chris on Twitter, October 2017.
What the fuck?
I mean, here's the
what,
thing.
What autistic shit have I stumbled into this time?
We're reading a Chris Chan article. If you
Back
want to catch up with us, go to what part of the? We're on manifestations.
Yeah, just
Yes.
type in the find and type he also described. Type that and that will take you instantly to there. Back in my day, we used to be able to thumbs down videos. Now Bernie Sanders only has 2 thumbs down.
I'm glad YouTube hasn't gotten rid of their thumbs down yet. It's just like the.
I mean, they did for certain creators, apparently.
Yeah, you can disable it, but for the most part, it's still there. Like,
No,
it's not
no.
getting
Did you
rid of
see
it for
the
everybody.
freaking controversy of Bernie Sanders' video when he talks about socialism and everyone that thumbs down the video would not have their thumbs down count, and it stayed at 2?
Yeah, I know that they
Oh
can filter
my
that
gosh.
shit out and they can freeze a channel, but that's still not getting rid of the thumbs down option for everyone.
Yeah.
So at least it's still there, unlike Facebook where you can't thumbs down at all.
Yeah.
Notable resident in Ruckersville, Virginia, alongside a NASCAR racer and about the 29,000th most popular individual in the world. That's how Chris sees himself? So
It's
where is
so-
the Wikipedia article about me?
Lightning bolt, heart, lightning bolt.
Chris on Twitter, August 2018. Chris, you know where the Wikipedia article about you is. You made it, and they said, no, you bring too much attention to their website in a bad way. So they removed it. You know this. You did this in the early 2000s. We all fucking remember it. He also describes himself as being as managing the varsity team. Oh yeah, he calls himself a manager even though he's a fucking towel boy, fucking water boy.
That kind of reminds me of this guy who's at my workplace. He's kind of actually like Chris, except he calls himself a producer, like, for video games, when in reality all he does is, like, disassemble parts for, like, different consoles.
Yeah, it's yet again that self-importance thing. But if even after all of this, you're still not convinced that Chris has an unaware self-importance issues, considering this little tidbit. Oh, consider this little tidbit. He posted autographed pictures of himself on eBay, looking like this. I'm gonna have to click
do
on
we
that,
wanna
'cause
click it?
Yeah, I'm gonna click on it. If it's not fucking nudes, then yeah. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I mean, it could have been so much worse. Let's be honest. It could have been him wearing like pony outfit or something. It could have just.
I guess the real question is how much. Make of that as you will. Fixation of self-image. Chris has created many avatars for himself throughout several medias. Okay, so I'm gonna click on these and we're gonna try to look at some of them if they actually fucking load. Okay, the Quickie's being nice to me today. These are his self-made pogs. Back in the 90s, there was
Oh
these
my
little
God.
cardboard things that you
What
could...
the fuck is that last one of Tails? Does he have like blackface on or some shit?
Those lips.
What's those lips?
It's the angle they're trying to draw him in. Like, he has like
I don't
an
know.
upward angle.
Are you
It's
trying
weird.
to say blackface is bad?
No, I'm trying to say that Tails in blackface is bad.
I'm sure
Like, what
Well,
the
his
fuck
mouth
does
is
Tails ever wear
open.
blackface for?
I'm sure all of these got destroyed, but I think a lot of people would pay quite a bit of good money to get these young photos of Chris as a pog. I think trolls would really fucking want them. I'm not even being ironic. Like, I fully think people would pay like 1,000 each for these.
Just imagine if he thought of it.
This is one of Chris Chan's first drawings of himself in the Sonichu comic. I talked about it earlier, but at least here you can't see the line for his weird fucking oval head.
Caillou. We can't-
As if his head's ever a consistent shape when he draws it.
Do you see how he's holding the Pokeball? Like he's not even
No,
gripping
I
it.
see how it's sticking to his hand though.
Yeah, it's almost like he has silly putty. Here's Chris's Lego self. He actually made it using a Lego kit and another off-brand Lego thing. That's why it has like the weird abomination arms and
And of
hands.
course he's sitting on a fucking throne.
Yeah, that's his throne. It's his Sonic.
God damn it, your
throne.
stream just went offline.
Did it?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh.
Wait for a second. Let's wait for it to come back on. Oh, there. It's back on.
Hey.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't fuck up the stream too bad. But yeah, this is made from fucking an off-brand Lego and name-brand Legos. Maybe we should quit looking at the photos. That's probably what did it. Opening too much shit at once. I'll open one more thing.
Oh my god, the amiibos! The amiibos! Oh my gosh!
I'll open the amiibos.
Okay, fuck this.
Christian still
What is in the
can't,
nose?
he still can't get his nose right. It looks like. Whose shoes did he steal to make past Chris Chan? That's not amiibo shoes. Not this ain't amiibos. These are Funkos. Fuck. Whose shoes did he steal to make Funko Chris's feet? Like you can see the part where he cut off whatever Funko that was. Like he cut off their feet and put new ones on there.
Oh my gosh.
This is hideous. You should just make a 3D fucking model and then print it. That would look 10 times better than this.
Nah,
Then
but
you'd have
this-
to learn how to 3D sculpt.
it has the Chris Chan touch.
Oh, autism?
Oh my god.
High
At
At least he learned. The
It's
right
a
one,
nuclear
you did as
bomb
little as possible
face.
to it.
Okay, Otaku, you're next.
Okay. I'll
Persecution
be on
complex.
persecution.
It's right after the amiibos. Not amiibos, fucking Funkos. Damn it.
Okay, I might not know how to spell persecution.
Just scroll down. It's right after the fucking wall of Chris Chan photos.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it. Persecution complex. Chris has a lot of problems, and even the ones that he's taken responsibility for, in quotes, are still out of his hands. His school was mean to him.
Oh, I forgot to point something out.
Yeah.
September 11th, 2001, the terrible day where the Twin Towers fell?
Yeah.
Chris Chan will always remember that date for the day he was arrested, and nothing else.
Wait,
hardly
what did he
ever
get
eat.
arrested for?
He got arrested for the shit in the mall. He got let out, but that's when the mall security tackled him. And he remembers it for that, and not the Twin Towers. It's hardly ever he'll talk about 9/11 and not bring up him getting arrested in the mall.
Oh my god.
I mean, I don't know. That doesn't sound too different from everyone else. I remember 9/11. I was at X place.
And then I heard about
With
the
my-
towers fall, and Chris Chan's like, I remember 9/11, a fat guy jumped on me because I was trying to pick up women.
I mean, you can just get new Twin Towers. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, we
Yeah,
have
just-
one tower now, because one's better than two anyway.
I mean, if you want to make it on cheap, just make it out of building blocks.
Oh, fucking pixel blocks like Christian.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Anyway, continue.
He didn't deserve that F in English or the one in
Oh yeah,
COD.
yeah. He was right. He has to do like a video essay for his teacher, and he tacks onto the video essay, "You gave me an F in English. I mean, I can't even remember the last time I got an F. It was at my old elementary school, and I was doing good. And then you gave me an F. What do you have against the autistic children anyway?"
Oh man.
And he doesn't deserve the 24/7 trolling, among other things. And if that wasn't enough, he thinks every authority figure in the land conspiring against his love quest. Ooh.
Oh, have fun
Look
reading
at that! Look at that
quote.
photo! Look at that photo! Saint Christian the Mater walking through the shadow of the Valley of Death.
Yes, that's the cover to Sonichu 4, the Love Quest saga. That's all the individual true life stories that Chris Chan was making at the end of the comics, but his mom
What's
told
all
him
over
he had
his
to stop
face?
doing it. It's supposed to
that
be
like-
bruises, but it looks like he instead has aid rest.
I thought that was like a whole bunch of acne.
No, it's bruises. And that's because in all of these stories, he gets in a fight with some figure of power, and then they get into a fight. And it's always Chris Chan instigating the fights in real life, but he makes it look like they're causing trouble in the comics.
Virginia is for virgins, for God's sakes.
My wooden badge was delicious.
I mean, just because I broke into Trump's tower didn't mean he had to call the police.
That's literally Chris Chan's logic. Anyway, have fun reading that quote with how it's structured.
Then in the mid-October, the quote-unquote Dean of Student Services, unquote, Mary Lee Walsh approached me and pulled my sign away from me and told me, "You're not allowed to find true love here." My heart was shattered that very moment.
He's restructured what she said there numerous amount of times.
Yep.
He said that, like, she said, "You can't have love ever. This isn't how you'll ever find a woman." Like, he's reworded it so many fucking times. He's never consistent on what she actually said to him. When in reality, according to Megan, it was more like, "You can't be doing that here. That's against our rules." And then she pointed out some rule about trying to hook up with women on campus. That's probably closer to the truth than anything Chris Chan says.
Chris on his Wikipedia user page. It doesn't help that he engages in quagmire of war against the homo rumors that were damn trolls keep spreading about him.
I am not a homo. If I was a woman, if I was if I was born a woman, I would be a lesbian. I am not gay. And one time he's like, "I am not gay. If I was gay, how could I have this drawing of me fucking women?"
I forgot
Said
about
he's
that.
not gay. That proves it. He's not gay.
Yeah, he has a drawing of him fingering women. That means he's not
I wonder
gay.
if anyone's ever tried to convince him the only way to prove you're not gay is by sucking a dick and seeing if you get hard.
I'm pretty sure trolls did tell him stuff like that, and he never fell for it. Anyway, continue.
With a second front versus the copyright violation thieves. What? Did he get in trouble with copyright?
I'm pretty sure he's talking about like Jimmy Hill trying to steal Sonichu's license and say that he's the true creator of Sonichu and sell stuff in England.
It's out of my control. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do.
That's
Just a
Chris
freestyle.
Chan. That's Chris Chan talking about with his father, where he uploaded his house tour and it's really fucking filthy in his house. And his dad's like, "You're gonna get that shit off the internet." He's like, "I don't know what to do."
Oh my god.
After releasing after the release of May, 8 videos in which Chris blames the
The Green County.
Greeny?
It's
Greeny?
green.
Okay, Green County school board for pretty much every misfortune in his life. From being banned from Game Place.
I hate how they structure their logo too. Yes, it is the game place.
To becoming the social outcast that we all know and tolerate, thereby cementing the notion that Chris will never take responsibility for his actions. What's this game place? Is that literally what it's called?
That's the place where Chris would hang out, and that's where he met Megan. He ended up getting kicked out of there for yelling at black children for beating him in games and harassing women.
I mean, what there is bad. That just sounds like the average Sunday. Except for getting beaten by them. The only time Chris had actually stepped up and admitted responsibility was the accidental formatting of his PS3.
What? I don't even know about that one.
That's news to me.
I don't know about the. We'll look at that later. I don't want to load another webpage that might make it fucking.
Naivety. The main.
Does someone else want to read Naivety? Because this one goes on for a bit. Who's next? Yeah. I forget.
I got it. Okay. I got it, man. Naivety. Chris's simple-mindedness and gullibility are legendary. Like George W. Bush, he only deals in absolutes. Either you're with him or you're against him. This has been very obvious in his answers to the mailbag, where he refuses to listen to any talk, even from professionals, about the similarities between Asperger's syndrome and autism.
Yeah, he thinks that Asperger's is even a thing. He says that Asperger's people are literally faking it to take attention away from autistic people.
No. I heard from the movie Predator is actually just the next step in human evolution.
Anyway, continue.
Denies that there are any shortcomings in his work and shrugs off any advice about how to improve his health or appearance, labeling anyone who suggests he has any kind of shortcoming a troll. Yes. Chris equates honesty with divulging every last detail about his life. Nothing is too candid for Chris. Getting haircuts, drink his own Navy. Oh God, I forgot about that.
Drinking his own
semen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shitting pants, or even giving away his home phone number and home address. The only thing he hasn't done with wild abandon is give away his social security number, and when that happens, it probably won't be a surprise to anybody. No, it wouldn't be. It really wouldn't.
He probably would sell it.
He sees that thing where it's like, "It's me, Mario. In order to defeat Bowser, you have to give me your social number." And he's like, "Okay, Mario."
I got this. Oh my God.
You would see that one guy who does the Fiverr, who says, "Attention all gamers," and you do it unironically.
No, he'd do it so then like they could correct Sonic Boom, like the Sonic's arm, so then they could be flesh colored instead of blue. I swear. Oh my God. His gullibility is astounding. No matter how many times it's happened before, Chris is easily led around by trolls promising China or threatening his identity.
I'm just telling people his lingo.
I know. It still cracks me up with his lingo sometimes, man.
Yeah.
The earlier trolling schemes, such as Blanca. Panda Halo.
They came up with Blanca because he said he knew both German and Spanish, and her name was White in German and Spanish. And he couldn't figure it out.
Blanca
and Weiss. Anyway, continue.
Panda Halo and Jimmy Hill got Chris to jump through hoops and expose so much information about Chris and his personality that they had to start this very wiki to keep track of it all. Another example of Chris's gullibility is one Miss Jacqueline Rami, a sweetheart Chris met earlier in 2011. Despite her obviously being a troll, proven by a mysterious leak of videos that were sent only to Jackie on February 2012, Chris has refriended her on Facebook after blocking her previous April Only time would tell if we end up seeing Chris cosplaying or making an ass of himself again in a video aimed only at Jackie. It's pretty obvious that Chris had only done this because he believed that he would score with Jackie sooner or later. In 2009...
No. Chris has
Oh.
only fucked a hooker till this day.
Yep.
Eh.
Don't
At least
go,
that's still better
it's
than
probably
a
not a
lot.
high-end hooker either.
That's-
Mm.
I was saying that's still better than a lot of people.
It's a fucking Virginia hooker. A low-end Virginia hooker.
Mm.
Get this.
Yeah, I've been at Virginia. That doesn't sound good.
Well,
Trust me, I've seen the women in Virginia. That's not a good thing.
God. In 2009 and 2010, Chris slowly began to learn to distrust trolls or to keep more of his information secure. However, many of his trolls believe this is akin to putting a shock collar on an animal. Eventually, in order to stop being shocked, not because they actually understand or care, the animal will start doing as it is told. Oh, God. Her hubris, the pride before the fall.
Let me take a look at this. I might get someone else to read that one because this one appears to be like a whole new part. So switch. Peebles, are you still here?
Yep,
Okay.
you got it. I'd say I'm all around. You see, the problem is that I have too many skills that I am good at. You might say that I am a jack of all trades and a master of none. Chris, right about that last part.
He doesn't even understand what that means. He doesn't even understand what that means and how it insults him.
Numerous times, Chris has shown that he believes he has powers and abilities far beyond those of moral autistics. In fact, so much so that this attitude has transcended mere hubris. Instead, it more resembles mental illness. Not only is Chris convinced that his writing, musical talents, and art are without peer, he also believes he has supernatural powers along the lines of Wicca or voodoo. And he doesn't just have the power to create. His is also the power to destroy. This line of thinking is exemplified by Chris's acceptance that Ryan Cash committed suicide just because he withheld Sonichu updates, and would worsen when he believed that his curse actually caused Liquid Chris and Mary Lee Walsh to have some sort of horror befall them. But those
How
are
do you
just...
know it didn't, though?
Because
I mean, that's
Liquid
true.
Chris in real life ended up getting married and he's happy.
Yep.
Oh.
The real horror is marriage, let's be honest, fellas.
I mean,
Wah,
that's
wah.
unironic true, but okay.
I'm kidding. Or am I? But these are... Oh, but those are just the most insane moments of cognitive dissonance. What about the time he went into hysterics when he didn't get recognition for his art at high school graduation? I should have been highly recognized for my artistic talents I showed in my many art classes for the award ceremonies before graduation day. I felt crestfallen greatly from not getting recognized for any of my talents. I excelled in math too, for the love of God. Chris on his Wikipedia page.
He really believes that being good at math deserves recognition.
It does.
I was good at spelling, damn it.
I was good at math in high school. Remember,
He still
I was that
bragged.
one. Here's the thing: I was that one person in a group of like 50 people.
He still bragged for having honor roll, like later on in his life. Anyway, continue.
Or his reaction to losing the Parappa contest. So that's sworn on my autism. Justice will be served to the 7 people of those 4 videos. Chris on the Sonichu site.
Ooh.
All of the above is consistent with the behavior of small children who, isolated from the real world by a lack of comprehension and limited mobility, believe themselves to be godlike beings. This belief is gradually destroyed as the child goes to school and encounters outside authority, leading to their acknowledgement of the fact that they are, in fact, ordinary people. Of course, since Chris is not only autistic but also extremely sheltered, he still manages to cling to this belief by focusing on specific aspects of his life and constructing elaborate fantasy worlds. This is also probably why he sees mundane chores as horrific trials of strength and will. In psychological terms, this can be referred to as psychological neoteny. Also consistent with his childlike mindset is his apparent belief that he has supernatural powers. In Freudian terms, this is referred to as omnipotence of thought. Basically, in the same way he does with religion, Chris cherry-picks elements of his life in order to validate his fantasy of control, which is more systematically displayed in the Sonichu comics. Taking this into consideration, it is likely that Magic-chan is yet another Mary Sue for Chris.
Magic-chan is beyond a Mary Sue. He ruins his own comic. He can predict anything that can happen.
Mary
That's
Sues
not
are
Mary
like...
Sue-ish at all.
But the thing is, like, Mary Sues are also... One of the things is that they're kind of like yourself, so he's basically married to himself.
Yeah, 3 times over, yeah.
Oof.
And the funny thing is, like, the definition of Mary Sue is, like, for a normal character, they have to stay consistent to the laws of their universe, but a Mary Sue can bend the laws of their universe to do whatever they want. And that's what Magic-chan does all the time.
I blame Marvel.
It's just life. Mary Sues have existed, and the first recorded case of one was Star Trek, so it's not
No,
just
I mean,
Marvel.
like, specifically with
and
Chris.
her name was Mary Sue.
Yes, that's where the term's name came from.
I mean, specifically with Chris, he probably, like, read it because he also recently...
No, it's more than likely he got his Mary Sue ideas from Ken Penders. Because he read
Yeah.
all of the Archie comics.
All the Archie comics, yup.
So it is very possible that he got his ideas from Ken Penders, and it's not a coincidence that one of Chris's first characters ever created was Bionic, which is literally just a brown Sonic, and it's supposed to be the brother of Sonic.
Should we say the N-word? They're still asking me to say it.
You guys are all a bunch of fucking stupid niggers. Stop it. Stop fucking asking for it. It's nothing special. It's not anything unique. The word nigger holds no significance in life. Like, it only matters if you fucking make it matter. You wanna hear me say nigger? Go to Jesse Pajama's stream yesterday. I scream it. Now, let's...
Oh, yeah!
Continue.
Now that made me moister than an oyster when you said that. Oh,
God. Jeez. Serving as a kind of avatar for his desire for ultimate authority. Why he felt it necessary to make yet another character to fill this role is unclear, considering he's already established himself as the one true god of Quickfill.
Yeah, he was Mayor at first, but slowly as his delusions kept going, he became, like, a deity. And now he is literally the god of Quickville. Goddess of Quickville, how homophobic of me.
The one true goddess of Quickville. Another aspect of Chris's arrogance, and again caused by his childish way of viewing the world, is visible in a phone call with Alec Benson Leary, creator of Asperchew. In the call, it is obvious Chris does not follow a mature procedure for developing a stance on issues, where normally an individual will learn information about the issue and from there decide how they feel about that issue. Chris does it the other way around and decides how he feels about something, then refuses to believe, understand, or even humor any evidence to the contrary. While most people have very strong belief in some issues, so much so that they automatically have a prejudice against people believing differently, e.g. politics, religion, etc., Chris has this perspective on everything. He takes a position on matters, then finds ways to back it up and ignores all evidence for the opposing
like his views
viewpoint.
on gay people and how they change depending on who he's talking to. For the longest time, he said that he represented the LBT community.
LBG?
No, he refused to
what?
include G. For the longest time, he refused to include G.
Oh,
And then he
that's
went
offensive
to, like,
to me.
He only
Then he
started
went-
including gay people because the LGBT people who were defending him made him.
Yeah.
didn't he move on to, like, SLGBT?
That was last year, yes, but here lately he's been dropping the S too.
It's implied. Let's see. Da-da-da-da. He takes a position on matters, then finds ways to back it up and ignores all evidence for the opposing viewpoint. This is called a confirmation bias. For example, Chris has decided homos are bad.
Lexism.
So he selectively finds information that backs up his stance on the matter and ignores anything anyone will tell him about why his homophobia is bad and makes him a bad person.
He thinks Ted Bundy did nothing wrong and that Ted Bundy is a Sonichu.
Oh god.
Just saying that, that's a good example of how he doesn't understand how life works and how evidence works.
Okay. He will then go as far as to pretend he can cure homosexuality with his own blood?
Yes, that was
Yeah,
that was
that's
a
not
plot
how
line
you
in
Yep.
the comic.
Sexuality, you cure it in other ways through like the Christian church.
The funny
And
thing is
chili juice.
that's retconned out of the comics now. Which is
Wait,
funny because
how?
Trolls had said before that if Chris used his own blood to try to cure homosexuality and his blood was just straight blood, like the purest of straight blood, he would actually cause the whole world to turn gay that way. And what's funny is in the Sonichu comics, as it goes forward, everyone starts becoming gay. So Chris might have
Ooh.
infected the whole world with gay in his comics.
You have the big gay. Unironically.
He's patient zero.
Uh,
Unless disliking homosexuals means he may not get laid.
You
See, that's exactly what he
shall
does.
not
Oh,
Get
God.
laid.
He actually retconned in the comics the fact that he never got laid as a teenager and adult is because he instilled a law that worked into the past to where if you're Mayor of Quickville, you can't get laid. So he's not allowed to get laid until he stops being Mayor of Quickville.
That's usually what makes you get laid. Having position of power.
Yeah, but even in a position of power, he never actually has anything that would make a
That
woman
is
seem
so
as
sad
attractive.
when not even your Mary Sue can get laid.
It's very-
Let's be honest. Who
His-
would want to be the mayor of Quickville, though? Let's be honest. Like, I don't think that's a position I
His
would.
Mary Sue would constantly promise himself to women, then those women would die in brutal ways every fucking
Ooh.
time. And it's because the trolls ended up revealing themselves to be trolls, so he had to get rid of the characters somehow. So he'd brutally kill them in either a house fire, a fucking truck accident. He would just kill them and fucking. I think it was Panda Halo that died in like the most extreme way. Like she was in a burning building and she was choking, and he has a drawing of her like dying and choking on her own air. It's
Choking
terrible.
on air. That
Yeah, in
sounds
a burning
amazing.
building. Yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, continue.
I remember when I choked on air.
When you're in a building, like the air starts.
Yeah, I
to
know.
hurt you,
It's
yeah.
choking on
Yep.
smoke. But yeah.
This is most apparent when he takes two contrary positions about a similar topic. The obvious example of this is Chris's understanding of the way parody functions. Chris will defend his right to make Sonichu to the hilt by claiming it is a parody, but he then states that Asperchu is a bad thing because it is a parody of a parody. As you can see, Chris has
Paraception.
decided... Yeah.
Yes.
Parody within a parody. As you can see, Chris has decided that he has every right to make Sonichu, so he backs this up with statements about his right to parody existing trademarked characters, but conversely, he has decided Asperchu is bad, so he supports this position by stating it is a parody of his legitimate work.
Oh lordy.
A literal example of the pride before the fall would be Chris's series of Facebook posts between April and June of 2012. In April 2012, Chris believed that he had utterly fooled the trolls when he made a series of posts mocking them. He even went so far as to post screenshots of the CWCki forum members talking about it. Note that in several of the screenshots, Chris believed that he had uncovered a scheme to start a poster campaign about him in Charlottesville. According to his Facebook post dated 4 June 2012, he had called the cops and basically admitted that he completely fell for it. He then recorded an angry voicemail greeting before quickly deleting it. Compared to an earlier voicemail he made, one can clearly see how humbled he was.
Let me see. Okay, I'll read materialism. I want Jule. Yeah, love is my first priority, but then I want my stuff back. That was Chris, and they're like, you have to choose between Julie or you get your PSN account. He's like, I want Julie, but I also want my PSN.
I'm a PSN account.
It's clear that Chris is
Christian
a materialist.
how to basic.
It is clear that Chris is a materialist, a common symptom of narcissistic personality disorder. Buying and hoarding large amounts of crap to the point to where now his old room is just a crap storage center, and now he's in presumably Bob's old room. To make him feel good about himself, he may believe that his unhealthy amount of children's toys might attract a sweetheart. I don't know. I don't think there's any women that would be attracted because you have a bunch of toys of Transformers. I don't think that's a thing. But any human being would clearly see that this man is delusional. He also doesn't seem to have a problem with getting money for sitting on his ass, claiming he can get more from his tugboat than he could get in an actual job. No, that's not true. That's a lie. He has absolutely no concept of money and believes he is entitled to everything he can buy. That's why he has like the Amazon wishlist shit. And then someone found a fucking loophole where you can buy something for him, then take it away, and then it removes it from his wish list, and you don't get charged for it. And he's like, you need to stop this, Amazon. Fix this.
He got so upset about that, too.
He has absolutely... Oh, yeah, I already read that. This scene's from childhood
amazing.
when Snorlax would take Chris to the toy store and encourage him to talk by giving him toys. Yeah, when Chris was a mute, his mom would buy him stuff to get him to talk, and he would continue doing that. And I think that's why he was a mute for so long, because he was doing it to get free shit. And then one day he just slipped up and said monkey, and then he's like, oh, I'm not a mute anymore. Ta-da! If he could read their names out loud. Ever since he's believed that just being autistic, he deserves everything he can get his grubby hands on. The mixture of compulsive hoarding, compulsive shopping, and autism is bad news all the way. He stole his fucking mom's credit card and put her into massive debt. That's why they're losing their house. He compulsively hoards all of his toys and video games because he wants to give them to his daughter in the future. He also seems to enjoy collecting things, which may explain why Pokemon appeals to him. Yes, that's a trait from his father.
How does he expect to give his stuff to his daughter in the future if he can't get laid?
He thinks he will get laid by getting the stuff. It's like a circle.
Yep.
It's a circle, it never ends. Chris compulsively buys everything he can on the PS3. He'll buy fucking DLC for games he doesn't own, so the PlayStation can win the fucking game wars. He thinks the fucking console wars are a thing, so he buys DLC for every game. And is more concerned with trophies than actual gameplay. He got every fucking trophy on Little Big Planet except for Play with a Friend. Most of the games he's downloaded have never been played, but the important thing is that he has it.
Has it.
Yep.
Hoarding items in cases other than OCD is a sign of intellectual disability in other children. He may have inherited this behavior from his parents. He did inherit it from his parents. Bob had like a massive record collection. That's one of the reasons why the house burned so quickly. Anyway, who wants to read Tinder? Oh, it's you. It's you, Otaku.
Tinder misanthropy. A tender misanthropy is defined by someone who despises humanity in general, but is ever ready to make an exception for the real people. In other words, an egotist who pretends to be benevolent, while it is obvious that Chris is an egotist. He truly believes that he's benevolent. I mean, from my knowledge, I've never seen anyone who's benevolent besides me. I'm the most benevolent, and I'm also the most humble. He is the perfect example of Tinder misanthrope, screaming death threats at what he knows of humanity. seeing as the only social connection he gets is from the internet.
During the merge, one of the things he pointed out is that Donald Trump was going to die during the merge, and that's just because he wanted Donald Trump gone in some way, so this is the closest way he thought he could get.
I mean, to be fair, what's more honest than the internet? While also believing that he is a kind, loving person who can give advice and act as a role for model children.
Role models for children. He originally intended for Sonichu to be a children's comic, and that children could read it. But as you know from Sonichu, they really shouldn't. But continue.
Another part of the definition states that a tender misanthrope feels certain of being able to love real people only if they could be found, or following that
I need to build a girlfriend from the ground up. Yeah, that's the shit they're talking about.
To transform existing false people into idealized real people through social and political programs. What? Of tender misanthrope own making. What? Wait, what?
He basically wants to build you to be his ideal friend, and then you're a real person to him. That's what they're saying. When you are you, you're not good enough for him, but he'll make you what he wants you to be.
We can rebuild them. We have the technology.
It's something that psychopaths and sociopaths do too, but it can be done in other people, like this, for example.
The way that Chris treats homos, seeing as he hates them all, no matter what he says, and wants them to turn straight by placing them into co-ed prisons.
Much similar like our vice president, yes.
Co-ed prisons.
He wants to turn them straight by only having them around women.
I mean, I'm just thinking of all the ways that could end out wrong.
More than likely, they would just befriend the women.
I was thinking more of people pretending to be gay to get placed in the co-ed prisons.
Chris would if he thought it could guarantee him to get laid.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's so many options of where that becomes wrong.
Maybe we could have prevented the Elliot Rodgers shooting that way.
Oh, that reminds me of that.
Hello, I am Elliot Rodger, and I am a homosexual.
Reprogramming them into straight via concentration camps. I hear that they help you study those concentration camps. You can stay focused.
He's still like the concentration camp idea still made it way into Sonichu. Like the Asperpedia 5 originally he brutally murdered them, but now in the retcon version he sent them to an Amish concentration camp where they are forced to be Amish.
Or by creating a vaccine that cures homosexuality.
Like Chris is very close to being a Nazi in his own little world.
I mean, when it's your own little world, why wouldn't you be?
The pure Sonichu race.
Yeah, certainly fits this description. The fact that he also generalizes trolls as homos also supports this. If that doesn't convince you that Chris feels he can make people into what he can emotionally attach himself into, there is also other obvious examples in his unique delivery of his intentions.
Okay.
Disregard of the rules of conduct. Yeah, I'm fucking terrible at reading.
All right. Do not delete nor censor my bombastic protest.
Chris, Encyclopedia Dramatica.
Yep.
Wait, before we go, I want to point out this comment. It is hilarious. I bet prison would help him get laid, just not in the way he would want it.
Big Bubba.
Chris has little regard for the rules of online communities. When he joins up on websites, he tends to do things his way. Well, of course, it's his way or nobody else's way, basically. He assumes that his own niche in these websites is under his absolute control. For example, he assumed that Wikipedia would allow him to post anything on his personal user page, or that Encyclopedia Dramatica would remove material critical to him if he just asked not so nicely. Sites like DeviantArt and YouTube allow community participation. Chris simply disallowed comments, or later on just ignored every comment he received.
That's what he does
Chris-
on Twitter. You can
Yeah,
comment
he
anything
does.
you want on Twitter, and he'll never acknowledge you, ever.
Yep. Chris also assumes that when other people host websites for him, in case of Wikipedia, he's given the final say on all matters. His record for getting permaban is currently at 2 weeks on Flipnote Hitena, and he foolishly tried to re-upload Flipnotes that had been removed for breaking the rules, without bothering to find out why they had been removed in the first place. His Facebook account encountered a cycle in July 2015 where it would be removed and put back up again. Some of Chris's posts contained sexual content such as photos of lizards and
Amplex.
oh god,
Amplexius.
Plexius, lordy, thumbnails of tribalism. Tribalism, thank you. Screenshots of sexting, and a drawing in which he was drenched in lemonade through a China-shaped lemonade.
Tribalism is a sex category.
Oh god. His description for the picture bragged about how jerks would be offended by it.
Okay,
Nobody needs
next person.
Oof.
We're almost done with this. We are getting close to the end.
Oof.
Yes.
Oof. 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 Okay.
Paranoia.
One of the worst things that comes out of Chris's ego is his bloated sense of paranoia. As mentioned above, Chris has taken to withholding certain informations from trolls like an animal being shocked by a shock collar. However, this line of thinking has pushed Chris into believing that the entire world is out to get him. In early days, it was actually simple. Jerkops and Mary Lee Walsh were conspiring to stop him from succeeding in his love quest.
A jerk-op is any cop that's not a cop, like a mall cop, a security guard. Any cop that doesn't wear blue is a jerk-op to Chris.
I mean, is he wrong?
I mean, they can still arrest him like any other cop, so yes, he is wrong.
Okay.
However, after the incident with the wallflower and the realization that there's entire web pages devoted to him, it's caused him to see things in a bigger yet disturbing picture. As such, Chris has decided to become a recluse, refusing to make friends with anyone unless he knew them in the real world.
He's a liar. He's a fucking liar because he befriended the idea guy.
Yes.
Continue.
Honestly, yeah, that doesn't seem like that doesn't seem totally accurate.
He never met the idea guy. He never met the captain. He only met the Troons. Those are the only people here lately that he met before he got to know them.
Yep.
He'll also
basically
befriend
right
you
back
if you
at
give
it.
him money. He'll befriend you if you give him money too. You like assuming you're not a troll because you give him money.
I already see him on Twitter trying to like reach out to the people that keep making fan art of him. Like he's trying to befriend them too. So that's
Yeah, he doesn't realize that trolls can make fan art of him and that trolls can give him money.
yeah, it's
That's impossible.
I really doubt he's even seen the stuff that D-Stex made on him, because if he did, I doubt he would fucking put D-Stex in his comic like he did. Oh yeah, D-Stex is a video I want to make one day. Fucking Sonic Insanity D-Stex. But before I do that, I'm gonna archive all of his videos.
Okay. Who's D-Stex?
D-Stex is a guy who trolled Chris Chan, made a whole review on Sonic 2 that took like 5 years to make. Then when it was done, he got trolls remorse, felt really bad for it, and gave Chris $1,000 to make up for his past misdeeds. Fueling Chris's insanity even further and making Chris think that people can just give him money for doing nothing.
Okay. That sounds interesting.
That's
Who's all
just
here?
the worst way of going about it. Why?
Do we still have an extra person in the call?
No, I think he left.
Okay.
But what I was saying is, I don't know. Like, I can somewhat understand trolls' remorse when you have a death toll, but when you don't have one, I just literally can't understand.
What he connected is he trolled someone in his school, and that person killed themselves. Therefore, he feels like that he's doing the same to Chris. And it's
Okay,
like,
that makes a little more sense, but
yeah,
still.
it's still trolls remorse to the classic degree of which you can use the word. And I feel really bad that he ended up doing this. I feel really bad that he can't accept who he is and just keeps trying to do other stuff online to no success. And eventually I will talk about him. But let's move on.
So H Bomber guy, but if he didn't become popular.
Yeah, D-Stex was only known for the Sonotry reviews.
Okay.
That's the problem. When you come into contact with like Chris, that's all anyone really cares about because he's such a spectacle.
Oh god.
I really don't care if people end up knowing me just for Chris or not.
I mean, yeah, it's just the natural consequence.
Yeah, it's just another show for me. When I get bored of it, I'll move on. And if the audience stays, they stay. If not, oh well.
Mhm.
That's basically the attitude you have to have, because otherwise, you
Yeah.
get into pitfall. Let's see. However, this is a double-edged sword, as Chris refuses to interact with anyone in the real world as well. In the real world, if someone spotted Chris and knew him by name, even if they had heard of him from whatever remaining place is left for him to go to, he panics and runs, fearing that the person is actually a troll seeking to spread more information about him across the internet.
He actually does run away from them. In real life, he will actively run away from them.
Oh my god.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
You don't want to be around Chris when he goes fast. That's how he ended up getting a lawsuit put on him.
Wait, what?
Chris, like, he was trying to run away from Michael Snyder. Michael Snyder wanted to keep him around to call the police, so he tried to stop Chris from pulling out, and then Chris pulled out his car and hit Michael Snyder.
Gotta go fast.
When Chris goes fast, there's nothing stopping him.
You don't want to see him when he goes fast. You wouldn't like him
If
when
Chris
he's
is in a
fast.
panic, he will hurt people by his own ignorance. Like, he will hurt you not realizing he's hurting you. But anyway, continue.
Let's see. As well, if someone wanted to contact Chris through other means, even if that person had no idea who Chris was or what Sonichu was or anything that the trolls had done, Chris will shut them out because he doesn't know who they are and thus has relegated them to the title of troll. Why would anyone randomly contact Chris if they didn't know what he had done? Like,
Yeah,
no one's gonna cold call him.
he's even turned on some of his white knights, thinking that they were trolls in disguise.
Oh god.
I mean, I don't blame him. It's possible.
Double agents.
Yep.
A perfect example of this was revealed in a series of Facebook screenshots. While eating at a McDonald's restaurant, an employee of Burger King spotted him, acknowledged him, then went to mess with his cell phone. Chris went into panic mode, assumed that the worker was actually a troll, then thought the man was communicating with his own kind by hopping on a forum. He then proceeded to photograph the man and talk about him behind his back on Facebook, ironically doing what he feared the troll would do to him.
It's kind of like the gang stalking people. They're so afraid of the incident happening that they're the ones creating it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Surrendering information. If there is one thing that Chris's ego would simply not allow, it's suppressing himself from giving away too much information about himself. If he feels that bragging about something would give him a one-up or against trolls or make himself look good, he'll freely announce it for everyone to hear. The most glaring example of this is this entire wiki, which was created using a lot of the information provided by Chris himself back in the day. Chris viewed himself as an extremely popular internet celebrity with a true and loyal fan base, and as such would divulge a lot of information about himself so people would know him better, inclusive of his personal information that nobody in their right mind would give away. However, there are times when he would do the opposite and surrender information that would make him look horrendously bad, like him admitting that he shits himself, sometimes without provocation. His enthusiastic revelation of his own fecal, yeah, that's talking about him shitting himself, is a shining example of this. Whilst this practice has diminished in the recent times, with Chris making himself scarce out of fear that trolls will have more ammo to use against him, his habit of needlessly surrendering information still manages to surface. For example, when he claimed to lose his virginity, he couldn't help but announce it on his Facebook page, all at the same time while swearing up and down that he would never divulge any details about it to the trolls. Mere weeks later, more details emerged on Facebook, leading to the speculation that he actually bought a hooker, since we all know the inevitable end result of his sweetheart search, which he ended up confirming on the 1st of May, along with attending a Mythbusters tour, something which wasn't even brought up, but still revealed anyway, all while claiming to remain button-lipped on the matter. So he fucking told people about it, then pretended like he didn't. Only time would tell if when Chris finally reveals everything to silence his naysayers. After all, it wouldn't be the first time it happened. Sure enough, December 2014, a leaked account of Chris's experience with the hooker was released on Kiwi Farms. He just never learns. In 2013, Chris's habit of needlessly surrendering information returned with a vengeance. Chris threw a temper tantrum on Facebook, and many would have assumed that it was business as usual, until Chris made the fatal mistake of revealing the reason why he went on the warpath. Somebody had uploaded his status updates, complete with the ones that were hidden, onto an Imager account.
Wait. So, how did it get a leaked account of Chris's experience with the hookers? Did that mean the hooker came forth, or did someone hack into it?
I think Chris told someone, and then they told other people on Kiwi Farms.
Okay,
That's usually what happens.
I was about to say, it's like, did the hooker try to get more advertising?
Usually he tells a sweetheart, and then the sweetheart tells the trolls. That's the usual way it turns out. Aside from the usual whining about how lonely he was, these screen caps not only revealed what he was up to in the silence between 2011 and 2013, but also uncovered a very ugly side of Chris. One post in particular revealed that he was angry at the fact that Mims had a girlfriend, I don't know who Mims is, and demanded that somebody should kill her, simply because Mims was a jerk. The fact remains...
Oh, jerk.
Yeah, jerks can't have girlfriends. That's logic.
I thought you were about to say gyms.
The one who revealed all of this unsavory information was not the trolls, as Chris would like to try to believe, but himself. The next year, Chris encountered a man trying to put out a bushfire near his house. However, he believed the man was trying to make it even worse, and thus uploaded the bushfire video, wherein he wound up dropping the address of the rental house in the video title. Okay, next, it's you, Otaku, again.
Fishing for sympathy. I am so smart. Why is it... Whatever.
He does that a lot.
Yep.
And yet I still have to learn I still not
See,
have...
One trait of Chris's that bothers me is he used to do this shit back in a few years ago, but now he does this shit where he randomly capitalizes letters for no reason.
I mean, okay, I can understand the ... but why keep...
it means that he's having trouble saying what he wants to say.
So he's
giving
stuttering
himself a
in
stutter.
text?
Yes, he gives himself a stutter in text, so you feel bad for him.
That is just retarded.
Yeah?
In many conversations with Chris, there has been quite a few instances where he outright fished for sympathy in the hopes that people would take pity upon him. And in
He's
doing...
self-aware. That's one thing people don't understand about Chris Chan. He is self-aware. He knows what he is. He knows that people take sympathy on that, and he will take advantage of people's sympathy. Which is why I say the ending of the Homeless Saga is someone is going to adopt Chris, and they are going to have the worst 4 months of their life.
Yeah, I know. So many people... I mean, this is something that happens all the time. People will do something, and then they will say, oh, this happened to me. They will claim sympathy. They'll start running all the banks, and then they'll start running the media. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, go on. We don't need the JQ here. Continue.
Make him feel better about it himself. One such example is the father call, where Chris consistently talks about trials and tribulations in his life, and unimpressed Matthew Devora, from whom he was trying to seek approval to date his daughter. Note that he said trial and tribulations amounted to housework and being teased on the internet. In his in his later email exchanges with Jackie, Chris is quick to paint himself as a misunderstood victim.
One of my favorite moments in Christory would be where Chris is trying to do his usual shit. He's trying to do his usual shit to get sympathy from Megan, and Megan's like, no, you deserve it. You deserve all of this, and you will continue to deserve it. I'm glad you didn't win, and even if you did win, I would go nowhere with you because I don't trust you. That was one of my favorite moments. That was one of my favorite moments. That's Chris being put in his fucking place.
Oof. Chris is quick to paint himself as the misunderstood victim when Jackie ripped him a new one over issues such as his habit of lying, being a hypocrite, and even being inconsiderate.
He's having that background noise. Oh, it's gone now.
Sorry.
Oh, is it you? Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, like, the freaking shower. My roommate's
okay.
shower.
Continue. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Even in recent times, that has not cut out this habit. His Facebook entire blames his trolls for making his life a living hell. One in particular, lamenting. Oh, lamenting.
Yeah.
That nobody cares about him except for his own mother. The attention he gets from his mother, Barbara, and his friend Anna is textbook mollycoddling at best.
Coddling.
What's that?
Mollycoddling. It's like where you coddle someone, you cuddle them, you tell them it's gonna be okay. You're a good guy. Things will work out.
So pretty much what the college do to leftists.
Yeah, it's enabling their own terrible behavior in order to not hurt their feelings.
Okay. Chris has spent his entire life being catered to by his parents, notably while past the point of social acceptance, to the point where he depends on them to bail him out the numerous messages he gets himself into. It comes as no surprise then that this, combined with his being autistic, has poisoned Chris' mind into thinking that this is how everybody should treat him by default. And if people don't see things his way, he'll be more than happy to point out the heavy burdens he faces daily, as if he expects them to instantly take back their mean words.
Chris really sees everything he puts up with as like a great deal to put up with, but anybody online, they could get out of the situation that Chris is in pretty easily. If you're having issues with your mother, move out. If you're having issues with money, get a job. It's very simple explanations to fucking very simple problems, but Chris will never fucking see that. He doesn't even realize that him spending money is putting him further in debt. But anyway, continue.
The habit of wanting sympathy is so ingrained in Chris that he instinctively hedges when he makes a positive statement about himself. An example is in this video in which he says, "I am so smart," and then immediately followed by downplaying it and saying he still had much to learn.
Okay, continue. No, it's someone else. Switch
I
off.
got it.
Yeah, I'm reading too slow right now.
This is the last one anyway.
I got it, yeah. War against the ego. One of the main forces opposing Chris's ego are the White Knights. These misguided souls have attempted to get Chris to understand that what he's doing is so ridiculous and that he needs to grow up. Instead, he brushed them all aside, assuring himself that he was true and honest and could do no wrong. Of course. What an angel. One of the more popular White Knights, Vivian G, became a troll when she couldn't get through to Chris. When asked to get real psychiatric help, Chris said that his church counselor, Rocky Shoemaker, is enough for him and that she could do so much more than someone with actual degree in the field. He seems to believe that because her title includes the word counselor, that she is every bit as qualified as a real doctor. The fact that most pastoral counselors see people for free probably helps as well, since Chris would never spend part of his precious monthly tugboat on something useful when there are video games to buy. There were even some instances where it seemed that the trolls had made a breakthrough by breaking Chris, only for him to get right back up again and continue with his antics. Yes,
it happens
that is
every fucking time.
time,
Every fucking
exactly.
time. Like when Megan broke him, he's like,
got
I'm
him.
so depressed. Then he finds another sweetheart. Oh, yeah. Then
I
when
got this.
Jule breaks him, he's like, I'll never get over this. Then immediately goes right back to it. He never fucking learns.
It's a cycle. An example of this would be Casey, who led Chris on for a while until she dropped the bombshell that she was going to marry Liquid Chris, but not before having her father point out every single thing that is wrong with Chris. A normal person would have been utterly devastated by this turn of events, and some would even use the experience to better themselves. Chris, on the other hand, perked right up when he obtained a letter validating Sonichu, forgetting about Casey in mere days, just like she had predicted.
And now I'll read this last part. This is from Jigglyami, a character he didn't create. And she says this random line, and I wonder who she could be referencing. Oh my god, this is gonna be just fantastic, Wonka. Our first concert ever. Thousands of fans. I couldn't be more excited, even if I just became as famous without ever having to leave my house. Okay, that's all. That's all. So scroll back up, and we'll ask, what did you guys learn from this? Did you learn anything from Chris's ego? Anything you didn't know?
From Chris's ego. I was about to say, I learned that I can still read after 4 mugs of Fireball.
You couldn't read, but I put up with you.
Yay.
Did anybody learn anything from this?
I'm looking at the picture of the amiibos and learning just how artistic our friend Chris truly is.
Okay,
Yes.
so I think the lesson we learned today is that don't give Chris money, you fucking idiots. That's my lesson for the end of the day.
It's a good lesson.
My
So-
lesson is drink more.
Do you guys have anything to say as like an outro or anything you want to promote before we end this?
Yes, subscribe to a little-known YouTuber called PewDiePie.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Maybe we'll get him up to 11 subs by the end of this.
Would make his day.
Anybody else got anything to say?
Nope.
Nope, subscribe to The Unknown Otaku.
Okay, thank you guys for
Go.
watching. If you like,
Wait,
this,
I
hit
still
the
got
like
my
button.
MySpace, I got my Facebook.
Fuck your MySpace. You're done. You're done with your shit. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you really like it, share it. If you want to see more stuff like this, then sub. If you are interested in Patreon shit, I have that too. Check it out. I updated it. Bye, guys.